Hello and welcome to the Otaku Network podcast. My name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And we are into week 3 of the winter season of 2025. So, I don't know, we'll just get into it and we'll start talking about them, beginning with Zenshu. So, episode 4 of Zenshu. So we have the fallout from the void entering the city, and Luke is questioning Natsuko what she knows given her prescient abilities. She's reluctant to tell him that she has an inkling that Memlem is involved with the void. When she dodges his question, she spies Memlin, and she terribly excuses herself to go spy on Memlin. Luke spies on Natsuko spying on Memlin, and the jig is up. So both of them are spying on Memlin. They follow her and the 2 other elves that are part of the choir to this cemetery on the outskirts of the city, and then follow them into a hidden cave where they come across essentially a satanic ritual.
I was not ready for that.
The choir is made up of many different species that are part of this last city, and they are a bunch of apocalypse lovers. And to their surprise and shock, Memlin is essentially the chief leader of this group. So they depart, trying to figure out what to do, run into Unio, and Natsuko encourages Luke not to tell Unio because Unio loves to talk and they don't want to spread panic throughout the city, by revealing that one of the 9 heroes is actually trying to bring about the destruction of everything by bringing the ultimate void into existence. They end up confronting Memlin, and she admits to it that she is trying to bring in the ultimate void because she's done with life. She has lived for so long and seen so many of her friends and compatriots over the centuries die, repeating the same process. She wants to break out of the wheel of reincarnation, even though she doesn't die. But from her perspective, from the amount of time that she's existed, she's just repeating the same thing again and again and again and again. She's looking for Buddhist release from the reincarnation circle.
That's a very common trope with a lot of elves in anime that I've seen.
Well, in general, you have just the general concept that elves are very long-lived, and the effects of that on
psyche.
Yeah, and their viewpoint of the world and the world around them. And
then that's the kind of general gist of Freerun, isn't it?
Well, kind of. No, Freerun...
Not that she wants to die or kill anybody.
Freerun is retrospective and regretting that she has been as flippant as she has been about...
Right, but what I mean, it's similar veins.
Yes. But then on top of that, in regards to anime, you also have the underlying influence of Buddhist concepts and ideas within Japanese society.
Right.
Cat's out of the bag, Memlin admits to it. Luke and Natsuko concoct a plan to pretty much fake the choir out, I guess. Natsuko's gonna herself draw the ultimate void. So what she's not telling Luke is that the end of the series, or the movie, for A Tale of Perishing, Luke ends up fighting the ultimate void, but it ends up being an illusion cast by Memlin, and Luke ends up killing Memlin. So Natsuko is trying to prevent Luke from going through that trauma. So they invade the choir, but Memlin knows what's up. They're letting the infiltration happen because it's part of their final chant, spell, ritual to bring in the ultimate void, to essentially sacrifice Luke to it, to summon it. Things start to go sideways, and that's when Natsuko is given the ability to engage into magical girl mode. And the concept that comes to her mind is introducing everybody to a character she drew in the first anime she worked for as an animator, which was a pretty boy anime. So she essentially summons in a very charismatic Prince Charming who sweeps everyone off of their feet, and we do a Disney-esque song and dance routine, and Memlin transforms into the belle of the ball. And the beauty and the majesty of this character that Natsuko drew does a lot of work to convince this doomsday cult that it's okay. They can keep living their life because a drawing will last forever and they can love that drawing. That's the end of the episode. It was weird. The whole how quickly they got convinced of, oh, okay, I guess there is meaning in life because artwork.
Remember, this anime is not taking itself
seriously. No, I know. I don't have a problem with it. It just seemed...
I thought it made sense. It keeps in line with the plot of the week
Yes.
kind of deal.
The show does like to wrap up its story very quickly. It likes to keep its individual stories wrapped up within a single episode, even though there's stuff that spills over to give you
there's a continuity.
Yes.
But it's like the problem of the week type deal,
yeah,
like
very
every
much.
other Magic Girl anime.
Yes. I loved it. It was so much fun. The whole routine of when the characters showed up and he's like, you're beautiful, handing out flowers to everybody, and everybody's just falling in love with the guy, and then Memlin gets soaked away in him, and they do literally the Disney love story duet song as they're dancing away. It was so good because it was 100% unexpected for this series.
Oh yeah. I didn't anticipate Pretty Boy saves the day.
No, nor did I anticipate Doomsday Cult.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of touched upon it a little bit last week in speculating that it was the elves just wanting to destroy the other creatures. But there were people from all the different species there.
It wasn't just straight up racism.
No.
It was
ennui.
actual depression.
It was, yes.
I kind of felt for them.
Oh, yeah.
Where like you live forever and you just watch people you care about die all the time. I'd get kind of sick of it too.
And it was also kind of selfish though too.
It is selfish. But remember,
just a little bit be like, I don't like this anymore, so all of us are going to leave.
Just remember, hundreds of years of trauma will fuck you up a little bit.
This is true. You are absolutely correct on that.
We only get to experience at max 100 years of trauma.
True. Not millennia of trauma.
Not multiple millennia of trauma.
Yeah.
Like, check your trauma privilege. There is an important little note about the end of the episode too. Unio making fun of Luke for being in love with Natsuko. I can't possibly be in love with.
Yeah. Obviously denying his own feelings.
Yeah.
This is the series that just keeps giving.
Anime continues to be fantastic.
Beautifully animated, fun story.
It's as good as Orb, just in a different way.
Because it has a really good balance between lighthearted and darkness.
Yeah.
But the lighthearted is so overwhelmingly enjoyable. It reminds me a lot every week of how I felt while we were watching Astronaut.
It's easy to suspend your disbelief and feel like the world is being lived in.
Yes.
By actual people. They're a little ridiculous, but
what I appreciate is how honest all of these characters are.
Oh yeah.
And how forthright they are. There's none of this indecision, in the choices they make, especially Natsuko. Natsuko holds nothing back.
The only person that I would say is a little reserved is Luke.
Yes.
Luke is the most indecisive out of everybody.
Yes.
But I think that is intentional because he's like this. He's supposed to be the stereotypical hero that the anime is trying to, write a love letter. And this is the first time a hero, I don't think Luke is really full of himself. Because if he was full of himself, he would be a lot more confident.
He is very uncomfortable in social situation. All right, let's move on to the next series, David's pick, which is Übel Blatt, episode 3.
This week in Übel Blatt, it covered an amount of ground that was kind of confusing. Not confusing, but I don't feel like it fit.
There was a massive info dump.
Yes, there was a lot of info.
From a lot of different directions.
So it picks up immediately with Koinzell going to face the heroes, attempts to fight him, and just boom, they're like, fuck you don't get to fight, because they just immediately overpower him. And he is instantaneously pardoned after everybody was calling for his head. And so he realizes very quickly, oh shit, this is just a strategic ploy to get the people more on his side, to forgive the barbarian, basically. And then it picks up, he gets scooped by a scantily clad princess who tries to kill him because he apparently killed her brother.
Yeah, he started wandering off in his depression and loss of direction, and then gets set upon by an extra from Heavy Metal.
Yeah, who Weed happened to work for, because we find out that Weed knows this princess.
Weed saves him from being killed.
Yes. So Weed saves him from the princess, and so does Pee-Pee. And they have this standoff in the woods, and Koinzell stands up, does the whole I disarmed you, but I didn't kill you, and then passes out. And then we get to a refugee village with the title screen's character for this week, the centurion of the armed forces that live in the area. and oh God, there was so much that happened. PP meets some of her people who are going to take her and a bunch of their people to go found a new village. And Koinzell is tasked to go find the princess's sister, the kid of this mom and dad figure that want to take PP. And then
cut to scene in forest with raiders or whatever.
Yeah. And the kid is like, oh shit. And then they're like, well, kill the kid. And this boy is like running. And then they stumble upon, Weed, who's facing off against this centurion who he claims kidnapped this princess that Koinzell's supposed to go find. And then it just turns out that,
the raiders show up.
The raiders show up. The centurion's like, yo, I serve this landgrave. And then the raiders are like, oh yeah, well, we have an even better one. And now there's this standoff, and that's kind of where the episode ended. There was just so much fan service this episode.
You know what I noticed this episode?
Huh?
That Koinzell wears a garter.
You're right, he does.
Yeah, like half of the people in the show were wearing garters this episode.
Yeah. I'm just glad PP got normal clothes.
Oh my God, she finally got normal clothes.
Thank you.
She was wearing a garter too until she got normal clothes.
I know. What is with all of these?
And then the crazy princess, she was wearing a garter
and panties.
All of the women so far, with the exception of the one mother from the people that PP is from.
Yeah.
Oh, and the glasses girl with the buns.
Yeah.
She was wearing full military regalia. But all of these fighters that are female are wearing thigh highs with a garter belt, panties, and then upper body armor.
Yeah.
So we essentially had...
I also love that her establishing shot is just her ass in a thong.
Oh, the one princess who was trying to kill Koinzell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Her establishing shot is just ass. And you're like, really?
So I had heard talking about there is a good amount of fan service within this show.
I just want a cool fantasy anime.
Beyond...
Why is this so hard, Japan?
Beyond the fan service that we're unnecessarily picking on, there was a lot of information that was dumped on here. As the episode progressed, it kind of started to fit into place, but there was so much. And there were so many names, half of them sounded like they just mashed a keyboard to come up with a name.
Yeah.
We're to this point now where we know that these 7 landgraves, these 7 heroes are bad. They're not good.
Yeah.
They have their own intentions in mind. So the Centurion is presented to us first as a antagonistic character, and then that's reversed, and he's presented to us as a sympathetic character, but I don't know what we can trust.
Bro, I was so afraid when PP was like, he's gonna take us to the place. I'm like, you're gonna die.
Yeah, when they talked about this, like, so this is an extermination program for these elf adjacent people. Right. Yes, they're gonna kill them all. And remember when the Centurion was talking to the one governor that he pretty much reports to, who reports to the hero of the 7, they were talking about, him cleaning up the ruffians. There was a lot of code words for undesirables within this episode, which fits within the theme and the concept of the world. One thing before I forget it, we had speculated last week of whether or not this is Earth. We forgot there are 2 moons. This is not Earth.
Yeah, we did. Also, pretty sure demi-human is a slur in this universe.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Because they pretty much only really used it in direction towards Koinzell that I can remember.
Yeah, and it's always when he's done something naughty.
Quote unquote naughty, yeah. When he's resisted.
When he's breaking the law. The established law of the land.
Yeah.
So, I think the term demi-human is a slur.
Yeah, it feels very much like a slur.
So, we've established a lot.
This episode dumped a lot on us.
Besides the fan service, it was entertaining. The lore of the universe is interesting.
Once it starts to make sense.
Yeah.
Because halfway through the episode, you're like, gee, what, okay, what's going on?
Right. Let's talk about Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days this week was entertaining. So Sakamoto and crew are at the point of they're trying to get used to each other. Lou and Shin are kind of like the very close in age siblings of the group that like to bicker and argue. And Sakamoto has kind of become the dad of everybody. But very quickly, Lou and Shin realize that something's up with Sakamoto. He is talking far more than he normally does. And very quickly, we find out that there are 2 Sakamotos. However, one of them is actually another assassin that is a shapeshifter who came to tell Sakamoto that there is a 1 billion yen hit on his head. He needs to watch his back, as every assassin or would-be assassin will be out trying to catch him and kill him. As the shapeshifter is telling Sakamoto about this, the pizza delivery man killer comes and tries to kill Sakamoto, and very quickly gets taken out because he is a F-tier assassin. Shin, Lu, and Sakamoto very quickly realize that they need to make a plan, because every hitman in the world is going to be coming after Sakamoto, and they need to protect their family. Very quickly after they come to this conclusion, Sakamoto's daughter and wife remind him that they are going to an amusement park. Sakamoto's not excited because he needs to protect his family, and it's very hard when there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people at an amusement park. So Shin and Lu are on high alert throughout the entirety of the trip so that Sakamoto can try to enjoy a modicum of normalcy with his family. We get a series of assassins, like the janitor assassin, who gets stabbed in no major organs or arteries with a pen from Sakamoto. They go on a roller coaster where an actually really cool assassin tries to kill Sakamoto. He's got this weird stitched up aesthetic on his neck and chest, like he had undergone an autopsy. And he's kind of this like master of poisons type assassin who poisons Shin, makes Shin blind from the poison, which in turn causes him to utilize his ability to read minds by getting within range of Sakamoto and using Sakamoto as his eyes to fight the assassin. While dressed up as Sugar the Bunny, that is the mascot of this amusement park, Shin saves the day. Sakamoto's secret is still held firm that he's not killing anybody and not participating in assassin-like duties, and the family enjoys their trip to the amusement park.
More than any of the other episodes, this felt very much like an episode of One Punch Man.
I found the gimmicks hilarious.
It was amusing. The poison dude was he was obnoxious.
Poison dude was cool as fuck.
With the Harlequin tattoos on his face.
Yeah, I liked the episode. I thought it was fun.
I enjoyed it. It was dumb. It was ridiculous, but that was the enjoyment of it. Like the situations were just the most far-fetched, ridiculous things. But I enjoyed the return to lightheartedness that we had lost in episode 2.
Yeah. The show's not taking itself seriously. That's the fun part about it.
Yeah.
And it just seems we get to the point with these shows that we're reviewing that anytime the show tries to take itself seriously, we're like, boo.
Well, unless the
boo
show is serious. But yes,
yeah.
We came into Sakamoto Days expecting something ridiculous because the premise is stupid and comedic. And we just want stupid comedy.
I like the fact that the show's back to not taking itself seriously. There's not a lot of ridiculous plot devices. It's just fight.
The show did what it needed to do to entertain.
And boy, was it fucking entertaining. I love that he has bulletproof glasses. So that was the animes for this week.
Yeah.
2 are really scratching the itch.
Zenshu did so good this week. It was so good.
And Übel Blatt's just, I'm not going to say it's bad. It's just missing the mark of my expectations.
We got 2 episodes where we had barely any information about the world and the story and what's going on. And all of a sudden we got this huge info dump coming from a couple of different angles talking about a bunch of different things that are not necessarily closely linked to each other.
And then Sakamoto did a return to form.
Yeah. So this episode definitely made up for episode 2's disappointment in my eyes.
It was a return to form. It was great. I liked last episode, but this episode was a lot more laughy, funny.
Just ridiculous and goofy.
Ridiculousness, yes.
Yeah.
Made me happy. As always, like, comment, subscribe, join our Discord, and links in the description. If you're watching the shows along with us, let us know your thoughts about any of the shows. We always love to read your comments, hear about your comments, interact with you guys as a community, because in the end, we're all otakus, and we love anime.
Don't forget about the other weekly series called Anime Plus that comes out on Wednesdays. Currently, we are continuing to discuss The Amazing Orb. All right? Thanks a lot, and we will see you guys next time.